So hey, I did it again. I made a whole freaking 11-minute video and didn't notice that my phone was filming vertically. I don't know why iPhones have such a pain in the ass to where they don't notice if you flip the phone sideways and rotate the video easily. But I'm really getting annoyed with it. Anyway, so I figured I haven't made a video in a while. I'll go back to some of my old stuff. I used to do a lot of gun videos on a YouTube channel. Then I actually deleted them all a few years ago. And so I got some content here waiting for you guys to observe if you want to. So these are my two shotguns and my favorite model shotguns of basically everything I've ever used. So these are both Winchesters. On top is a 1200, the bottom is a 1300 Defender. As you can obviously probably tell by the look of them, the top one I use for skeet shooting, coyote hunting, and as another home defense shotgun when I use that Winchester Riot barrel there. But right now it's set up for coyote hunting with a magazine tube extension and full choke 28-inch vent rib barrel. And the bottom is obviously a home defense, property defense gun. I like to prefer I can't talk today. I prefer to call it a property defense gun. I'll get into that a little bit later in the video when I talk about how to implement the gun. So I'll just run through the features of the gun. Really, it's a pretty basic gun. This is a pretty old Winchester here on top. This doesn't even have a butt plate or a butt recoil pad. It's just a plastic plate on there. Full length adult stock. I've redone the finish on it, sanded it down in linseed oil. I like that smooth, flat finish. It's got a nice jeweled bolt carrier of some type of non-stainless metal because it's always had those corrosion stains on there. I wish it didn't, but I can't really get them off. I don't want to lose the jeweling by polishing it somehow. That one has a, I think it's an aluminum trigger housing group. The Defender here, I think, is a plastic trigger housing group. I think. I feel it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a plastic trigger housing group. Maybe not, though. It might still be aluminum. I can't exactly remember. At some point, they changed to, I think, to a plastic trigger housing. I'm on the fence, though, as well. That feels like aluminum still. But I remember studying that a long time ago. I'll look into that again. I can't tell by just touching it right now in the video, but it felt like aluminum to me. But I know at some point they changed it to plastic, I believe. Or maybe that's a different model shotgun. I don't know. But that felt like aluminum, and I'm happy it is because I remember being on the fence saying I would rather have aluminum than a plastic, and I don't actually recall now, so comment for me and tell me if you remember. I'll probably figure it out after I look at this video because it'll bug me. But anyhow, these are my favorite shotguns that I've ever used. I've used Mossbergs, Remingtons. These have the smoothest action and the fastest recoil-assisted action that Winchester or any company has for a shotgun. They're almost as fast as semi-autos if you know how to use them. They were marketed as a Winchester speed pump, I think in the 1950s maybe, or the early 60s, because they have a rotating bolt. And most shotguns don't. I don't think any do actually, except for the Winchesters. So when you pull the trigger and the round goes off, the recoil rotates the bolt, unlocks the carrier, and will literally blow the slide back halfway for you. So if you know how to shoot and you apply a little rearward pressure to the slide when you touch off a round, your hand will just fly back and eject the round basically under recoil, and then you just slam a new round home and you can fire again. So they're real fast. And smooth as butter. They used these guns in Vietnam in roughly the Defender configuration, but it was a 1200 model. I think the difference between the 1200 and the 1300, the 1300 can take 3-inch shells. The 1200 only is 2 3/4, which I never care about. I generally use 2 3/4 anyway. But and obviously, you see the mounting lug for the barrel is farther forward on the 1300 Defender model. There are 1300s that are just like, you know, bird models too. So, great guns. I've shot that with a wooden one thousands of times. Skeet shooting. They're great. The Defender here has a Hogue overmolded youth stock on it to lengthen it, make it a little more handy, which is great too. The upper gun there is awesome with the Winchester Riot barrel on there. I think it's a police barrel I got at a gun show. It cost me $165. They're not that easy to get a hold of these days. That's a very handy gun, lightweight, with only the small tube on it, without the extension. You know, it's very effective, very smooth. Obviously, a little capacity limited, but you put a youth stock on that one with that barrel, it'd be real handy. So, did I mention these were used in Vietnam? Yeah, with the Defender type configuration with a bayonet lug on it, however, and maybe a ventilated heat shield, I'm not sure. But, so, obviously, I used the bottom for a property defense gun. I said that earlier in the video. And I'll explain to you why here. In my theory, which I've run through different things in my head, and I don't really understand these days why people try to push the AR-15 as a great home defense weapon. I don't believe that. And or a shotgun. It seems like the fight's back and forth between that. I don't like long guns at all for being inside a house. Preferably I would use, in a military situation, I'd use like maybe a 12-inch or 11-inch AR-15 or a submachine gun. But as a civilian in a home, I like a decent semi-auto pistol, like a Springfield Armory XD or a Glock. Or a 1911 even. I mean, capacity-wise, you obviously want the higher capacity of all of them. In like a decent caliber, 9mm, 45, 40, 10mm, 357 SIGs, great, deafening the shit out of you in a house. But I like 45 ACP in a house because it's fairly low pressure and it's not as hard as on your ears if you don't have a suppressor. But the main reason I like a pistol for inside a house is because I can use my offhand to open a door or grab a child or push somebody away from me and then shoot them with my hand close to my body with a pistol in it. We're gonna venture off here into the non-politically correct realm that I like because it's reality. If you're gonna have to defend your home against a bad person, you want the highest chance of retaining your weapon and the best chance of hurting them terminally so that they can't hurt you or your family. So having a long gun on you really limits your mobility, and if you have to do anything, a long gun gets in your way. If I have a 16-inch AR-15, I'm trying to open a door, you basically got to take the muzzle off the door to reach the handle, or one arm the gun, and like, it's really cumbersome when it doesn't need to be. I mean, I realize there's a huge power difference between a handgun and a shotgun and an AR, but a shotgun's the same way. It's a lot easier to disarm somebody with a long gun than it is with a pistol. So my preference for inside a house is a pistol with a white light on it, okay, and night sights for added usefulness. So as a property gun, is basically, to me, outside my door or outside my window. Anytime I'm ranging outside of the confines of my home, I need something that obviously has more power and more distance available. Now, I can take 60-yard shots with a pistol. I've done it many times. I think I have a photo on my phone of me shooting my Glock at a 60-yard at a steel target and hitting it, my Glock 19. I'll cut that in the video. You can't even barely see the target in the photo, but trust me, it's at the end of these tracks in the snow. So a shotgun with number 4 buck or double aught buck is great for, a 30 or 40 yard problem. If you have this gun up top with a choke in it, you could reach out even farther than that, most likely. number 4 for like a predator, a coyote, may, you know, if you got a small farm or something, you know. Now, if you got a bigger farm, bigger property, bigger problems, yeah, then you could move. In my mind, you'd move to a 308 or an AR-15. You know, great weapons for that. But you can't really beat the versatility of a shotgun for your yard. You know, your yard, a small country home. You know, where you got some outbuildings and some property within 40 meters of your house. You know, a shotgun is a great tool for that, and damn lethal. You know, it's hard to argue the double aught buck's effectiveness. So I don't want to wander off on this too much in this video, but if you get a chance to pick up one of these Winchesters, they're a great buy. Generally pretty cheap in a gun shop used. Clean them up. Make sure you take the bolt apart and clean it. I shot the wooden gun here thousands of rounds until it stopped working, stopped functioning. And all I had to do is, you know, I cleaned the gun all generally, but I never took the bolt apart at that time. Finally, I took the bolt apart, soaked the stuff, cleaned it. The thing still had cosmoline in it. It's never been taken apart. Once I cleaned it up, oiled it, put it back together, it ran great, even better than before. So these guns are tough. They're fairly lightweight. They have aluminum receivers. And, man, they run like champs for me. And they're great. Can't beat the smooth action on them either. So, have a nice day, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take it easy. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.